Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. New Zealand has been suffering in the most heinous terrorist attack in New Zealand history. At least 49 people have been killed in two incidents, two mosques that's been attacked. The suspect's name is 28-year-old Brenton Tarrant from Australia, who is also a white nationalist. So this is very interesting, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. This is breaking news from um, from um, from Britain TV, BBC, and I'm going to finish the rest of my commentary.
On the shooting attacks on two mosques in the New Zealand city of Christchurch, 49 people are known to have died.
Dozens more are being treated in hospital for gunshot wounds. Witnesses say at least one gunman opened fire on worshippers at the mosques as they were gathering for Friday prayers. Well, one man in his 20s has been charged with murder. Two other men and one woman were detained in the areas around the mosques, but police have established one at least had no involvement.
Police are investigating reports that an attacker live-streamed their actions. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has described the events as an extreme and unprecedented act of violence.
We're going to be with you for the next hour, bringing you eyewitness accounts and reaction from within New Zealand, but also around the world. And we'll start our coverage with this report from Simon Jones.
Unprecedented is how police are describing this attack. Scores dead as two mosques are targeted during Friday prayers. People ran for their lives, but many did not make it.
I was hearing that shooting after shooting after shooting. It went on about 6 minutes or more, and I could hear screaming and crying.
People outside were also caught up in the chaos.
I stopped the car in shock, and I leaned either way, I'm not sure, left, I think, across the seats to try and avoid getting shot. And apparently a bullet went sailing over my car and struck the one in the back.
It's believed the gunman filmed his attack. Explosives were found attached to vehicles.
It is clear that this can now only be described as a terrorist attack. From what we know, it does appear to have been well planned.
All mosques in the country have been told to close their doors. Schools were put into lockdown. A man has been charged with murder.
That part of our investigation will to look back at every possibility to ensure that we in law enforcement and security didn't miss any opportunities to prevent this horrendous event.
The Australian Prime Minister said one of those arrested is from his country.
I can confirm that the individual who was taken into custody, I've been advised, is an Australian-born citizen. And obviously that element of the investigation Australian authorities are involved in.
A community and a country now trying to comprehend one of its darkest days. Simon Jones, BBC News.
And just to bring you right up to date, the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern did say categorically in her last briefing, which was not long ago, that this is being perceived very much as a terrorist attack, although she also conceded that those people who've been arrested were not on any security watch list.
Police are still trying to establish whether the gunman responsible for the attack at the Al Noor Mosque was also responsible for the attack at the Linwood Mosque. As we say, 3 other people have been detained, but police say they have established that at least one of those had nothing to do with this terror attack. They say they are trying to understand what, if any, connection the other 2 people apprehended had to these terror attacks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. 49 people lost their lives that day in 2 mosques in New Zealand. Now, I'm going to go ahead and this is basically an interesting thing, and I want to let each and every one of you know I've been having, what's going on with this story. The white nationalist name is Brenton Tarrant, 28, out of Australia. He's responsible of the terrorist attacks there. Of course, there's been a lot of reaction throughout this, what happened in New Zealand. Now, I've been, with Brendan Tarrant, he had a manifesto. So he made two references, which is very interesting of what happened here in the United States. The first, and I'm going to read this, and this is from one of his manifesto. He says about conservative commentator or conservative blogger Candace Owens. So this is what he says about Candace Owens on his manifesto. He says, quote, that the person that has influenced me above all was Candace Owens. So let me get this right. A conservative blogger, a conservative commentator, Candace Owens, influenced him to attack 2 mosques in New Zealand, killing 49 people. Unbelievable. And he also says about our president, he says, quote, Trump is a symbol of renewed white identity and common purpose. So the thing is that and I told you on my previous videos, guys, that white nationalism is on the rise. Ever since you know who was president, you have a lot of terrorist attacks here in the United States and abroad. And people want to sweep that under the rug. And even some media outlets said don't want to call it a terrorist attack. They call it an isolated incident, or they've been forced to call it a domestic terrorist attack because they didn't have a choice to call it that. So you see, the New Zealand Prime Minister even admitted herself that this was a terrorist attack. Now, speaking of 45, and you know what? This is why I said that and people gonna probably attack me with this because he's our president. But I'm gonna tell you what, just like he did with the Charlottesville, Virginia massacre, when the white nationalists, ran over people and killing one person, Heather Heyer. Now he made a comment about this New Zealand, terrorist attack. He said, quote unquote, he does not think that white nationalism is a rising global threat. That's our president. That's exactly what he says. And this is coming from a person whose father supported the KKK in New York. This is coming from a person who says that, the white nationalists are very fine people. So, and this is the same person that's been financed by white nationalists when he was running for president in 2016. So the thing of it is that people if it's an Islamic terrorist attack, the president would condemn it. That this is a terrorist attack. If it's ISIS that did it, if it's Al Qaeda that did it, he's going to condemn it. But with this terrorist attack, I don't see anything. He said, I don't think that white nationalism rise is a global threat. So basically you condemn everybody of their attacks, but you're not condemning this. But we get to that later. The point I'm making is that 49 people lost their lives that day in 2 mosques. 49 people. And obviously, this president doesn't care. And I'm just keeping it real. He doesn't care about, innocence of equality of life. It doesn't matter what. To me, it is a terrorist attack. And I'm glad that the Prime Minister of New Zealand said it was a terrorist attack in her country. And basically, we were having, black people for almost 500 years dealing with the same white supremacist terrorist attack here in the United States. And basically, now the entire world knows. And we've been trying to tell everybody for years and people not listening. Now, since this incident happened, hopefully people will listen of what we're saying. Because none of us, this is not no make-believe. We're not making this up. It's really happening. And it continues to happen here in the United States, but normally they don't report it. So we're seeing time and time again, it's not just here in the United States that we having domestic terrorist attacks, but it's also now happening abroad with white nationalism and white supremacists. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think about this. Share this video. Like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel for more news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.